Greg here again with another Fukushima debunking video. As many of you know, we go after the liars, the ones that scam people for money, the clickbait fear porn producers. But should we excuse when a government or mainstream media source also lies about Fukushima? No, we'll go after any of them. In this case, we're going to go after RT, or Russia Today. Now, why would Russia have motive to lie about Fukushima? Have they been caught spreading propaganda before? Don't they have whole crews of people working specifically on propaganda and internet trolling? Maybe it's because they've been trying to downplay the world's worst nuclear disaster that released about 10 times the amount of radiation that Fukushima did? No, it couldn't be that, could it?
More than 1 million tonnes of radioactive wastewater could be dumped into the Pacific Ocean. That's the grave warning from Japan's Environment Minister, where authorities are still dealing with the aftermath of the Fukushima nuclear disaster.
The only option will be to drain it into the sea and dilute it. The whole of the government will discuss this, but I would like to offer my simple opinion.
Well, Yoshiaki Harada didn't say that in an official capacity, like the news report said. And he was, the next day, he was quickly relieved of duty, and a new up-and-coming political youngster was put in his place, who immediately announced that they're going to do away with nuclear power plants in Japan. We'll see how that goes.
Well, groundwater has accumulated at the plant since the events of 2011. That's when a tsunami triggered multiple nuclear meltdowns. Officials have attempted to remove harmful pollutants, but a lot of them do remain. And they are warning too that they'll run out of storage space by 2022. Meanwhile, the government has spent something like $320 million on a wall to slow the flow of water to the reactors, although it's not worked quite as well as they had hoped.
Yeah, for those of you who are saying they aren't doing anything, well, no, they spent lots of money on this wall, which was only partially successful. Over 4,000 people come to work every day right at the plant, and they have already spent billions. And by the time this is over with, they will probably have spent trillions.
Tens of thousands were evacuated from Fukushima after the tragedy, which claimed the lives of more than 2,000 people, according to Japan's reconstruction agency.
Our survey said...
Now look what they just did there. They made you believe that over 2,000 people died at Fukushima because of radiation. That was the implication. If you didn't catch it, look what it says. In process of evacuation. Yes, they had to evacuate a lot of people, and actually more people died from the evacuation that actually died of the tsunami in the Fukushima prefecture. Over 15,000 people died all across Japan, and not a single one of them died to radiation. Yes, the causes of death because of this was due to the evacuation process, exhaustion from relocating, illnesses from being transported around, also a number of suicides, but none due to radiation.
Well, we spoke to a nuclear expert about the ongoing dangers.
Yeah, when you don't want to lie directly, call in an anti-nuke expert to lie for you.
People will be getting concentrated radiation doses in seafood.
Our survey said...
Kevin Camps from Beyond Nuclear. Where have I heard that before? Ah, that's right. He's a radioactive waste watchdog for Beyond Nuclear, an anti-nuclear advocacy organization. And so how do you think you're going to get unbiased information from an organization like that? What is Beyond Nuclear? From the Beyond Nuclear website, working for a world free from nuclear power and nuclear weapons. And who's behind Beyond Nuclear? Ah, Dr. Helen Caldicott, the famous Fukushima liar, staunchly anti-nuke. So you're going to trust information from an organization like this as being unbiased and without an agenda?
This is extremely hazardous, highly concentrated radioactive wastewater.
Highly concentrated? No, it's tritium. Tritium is released by all nuclear power plants all around the world. Highly concentrated? By the time you put this in the Pacific Ocean, and it starts diluting itself, you won't be able to measure any more tritium in the oceans than you could before. And yes, you could right now check for tritium in all the waterways of the world, and you will find it because it's produced in nature.
That will bioaccumulate in the food chain, and humans are at the top of the food chain. It's not just Japanese people, it's anyone who eats seafood from the Pacific Ocean. That's why the South Korean government is very concerned. The United States government should be very concerned.
So they need to convince you that even if you're not Japanese, you need to be afraid, be very afraid. Well, you know what? The Japanese live longer, have a longer life expectancy than anybody else on the entire planet. And if you look, South Korea isn't doing too bad either.
Only now the Japanese government is proposing to intentionally release 1 million tons of highly radioactive wastewater. That's 1 billion liters of highly radioactive wastewater.
Notice how they went from millions to billions by converting it to the lowest unit of measure possible to ramp up the fear porn.
They should retain it, they should store it for 125 years, let the tritium decay away.
Retain it and store it for 125 years because of tritium.
But there will still be other radioactive poisons in there that have to be filtered out and isolated from the environment for much longer periods of time.
But he forgot to mention that highly radioactive wastewater has already been treated to remove those other isotopes so that only tritium remains. If you want more information about tritium in water, I just did another video just recently about this. We're going to do another video here real soon about how South Korea lies to their audience for other reasons. Thanks for watching.